Thanks, Stuart. I've been joined today by Mr. Semmons, who's a primary school teacher, and will be giving our viewers a short maths lesson today. So, Mr. Semmons, can I ask you to please introduce yourself and tell us what today's lesson's going to be?
So I'm Mr. Semmons. I'm a primary school teacher at Marisbridge Primary School in Wigan. And today's lesson is going to be on addition, looking at the column method.
Brilliant. So to all the children watching today, please use the chat facility next to the video player to ask your questions to Mr. Semmons. If you're struggling with anything or have any questions at all, just use that. And if you know Mr. Semmons, make sure to give him a big hello on the chat facility. Would you like to say a hello to your class, Mr. Semmons?
Hello. Hello.
Brilliant. So let's start with today's lesson.
So today we are going to be learning about column addition. Okay, so this is something that primary school do a lot of, but this is something that we always build up to, leading on from place value, leading into addition and subtraction. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the numbers. So our first question says 52 add 36. So this is something that a lot of people commonly can get wrong. It might come across as something that's very easy, but a lot of kids these days in primary schools seem to get these types of questions wrong. However, we're going to start with the basics. So 52 add 36. So first of all, we need to understand which is our tens, but also which is our ones column. So we're going to start with the number 52, which you can all see. As you can see, I've done them in different colours. So I've done the hundreds in red, tens in blue, and the ones in black. So 52, we know that 52, going back to our place value, 52 has 5 tens, but it also has 2 ones. So if it has 5 tens, this is 50. If it's 2 ones, it is just 2. Okay. The number 36. 36 has 3 tens, and it also has 6 ones. Okay. So that means it's 30 and it is 6, which adds 36. Okay, so that's the important part before we add our numbers together. So the ones is what we use first. So when we do column addition, we need to make sure that our numbers are in the correct column. So these will be our steps to success today. So our steps to success are to place the digits in the correct column. As you can see, I've done this. Show the addition and equal sign. So you can see next to our question, we have an addition sign, and we also have an equal sign, as you can see here. We're going to add the ones column first, okay? But this is something I'm going to lead into as we complete the question. Then we are going to add the tens column. And then as we get onto the harder questions, we're going to add the hundreds column. So let's have a go at the first question. So 52 add 36. So looking at my steps to success, I know that I need to add the ones column first. I know I've got my addition, my equal sign. Let's add the ones column together. A lot of you at home might want to use different concrete resources to help you to add the numbers together. So if it's a question like 2 add 6, you might want to use counters to help you add them up together. You might use peas. There's lots of concrete resources you can use to help you add numbers and also subtract numbers. Okay, so 2 add 6 is what we would do first, because I know that my column of the ones has a 2 and a 6. So simple enough, I know that 2 add 6 gives me 8. So I'll put my 8 in this column here, in between the equals sign. Remember, this equal sign doesn't mean it's the answer. 52 add 36 will equal something. Okay, so 2 add 6 gives me 8, which you can see in the black column. Then I'm going to move across, so I'm going to move from right to left and complete my tens column. And as you can see in my tens column, I have a 5 and a 3. So all I need to do is add those together. So I've done 2 add 6, which gives me 8. So 5 add 3 also gives me 8, which you can see in blue. So we know that 52 add 36 gives us 88. Simple enough. So what we have done is, if we go back to our steps of success, we've placed the numbers, the digits in the correct columns. So our ones are all together and our tens are all together. We've shown the addition, the equal sign. We've added the ones column together first. Then we've added the tens column together. Not got on to the hundreds yet, but that is something we'll go into. Simple as that, okay? They do get harder, though, but that is a question of where we all need to start. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. So you might see a difference this time. The difference is that we've got our hundreds column as well, which is shown in red. I thought it'd be best to show you the hundreds, the tens, and the ones in different colours, just so you can see and understand that they are different digits and they are worth different amounts. Okay. So, same as what we would do with the first question, we'd start with the ones, then we go to the tens, and then we go to the hundreds. Okay, so 4 add 7. So I know that 4 add 7 gives me 11. However, this time, there is something wrong, okay, with this. We can't put 11 as one number here, okay? Remember, as you would know from school, if you use squared paper, is only one digit per square. So, this is a term we call exchanging, okay? So we have to exchange a 10 and move it across to the next column. So if 4 add 7 gives me 11, what I would do is I'd put my ones. So I know that 11 has 1 10 and 1 1. So I would put my 1 here, and then I would carry my 10 over to the tens column. But as you can see, we can still see that 4 add 7 gives us 11. Okay. Then we would move across to our tens column. This is where it gets a bit tricky now. So we would do 6 add 3, but from my personal experience, a lot of common errors come into the fact that people forget about this 1 underneath. So the 10 that we've carried over. So 6, so we do 6, add 3, add 1. So 6 add 3 gives me 9. And then 9 add 1 gives me 10. Again, we can't put 10 like this, can we? Because it's a 2-digit number. We can only put 1 digit per square. So I know I've got 1 10 and no ones. So I'd put my 0 here. And then I would carry my 10 across. But that will now become 100 because it's in the hundreds column. So if I just recap, we've done 4 add 7, which gives us 11. I've carried my 10 over to the tens column. And then I've done 6, add 3, add 1, which gives me 10. I put my 0 in the tens column and carried my 1 over. So all I need to do now is count my hundreds. So I've got 1, add 1, don't forget the 1 below, add the other 1, which gives me 3. Okay, so as you can see, we have shown our working out. We've shown our understanding as well of how to exchange numbers across. We know that 164 add 137 gives me 301. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this number first. We're going to do another one of these. So It is really important that you understand where the digits go. Okay, so you know that you have your hundreds are here, your tens are here, and your ones are here. My personal experience from being in a year 3 class, this is where a lot of my children in my class got this wrong, because they was putting the digits in the wrong columns. Okay, and when it comes to adding the numbers together, they didn't know which numbers to add. It's because they didn't know which were the hundreds, the tens, the ones, so on. Okay, so we're going to do another one of those because it is quite tricky. So we're going to do 167 add 147. Okay. So again, if I look at my steps to success, I need to look if I've placed the digits in the correct column. So, yes, I can see that I've got my ones column in the correct column, my tens, and my hundreds. And I've made it easier for you to see because I've done them in different colours. Have I shown the addition and equal sign? Well, yes, as you can see, next to the numbers, we've got the add sign, and we've also got my equal sign, which is here. Okay. So the equal sign, it's not an answer, it's what it's the same as. So for example, if we go back to 52 add 36, 52 add 36 is equal to 88, because those two numbers add together to make 88. Okay. So if we go back to this question, we need to add the ones column first. So I can see in my ones column, I've got 7, add 7, which I know would give me 14. Remember, you can't do this, can you? Because it's one digit per square. So I know that 14 has 1 10 and 4 ones. So I put my ones column in here. So it was 4 ones. And then I would carry my 10 over to the tens column. So 7 add 7 would give me 14. Then I need to add my tens column together. So I've got 6, add 4, and remember we've got our extra 10 under here now, add 1. So 6 add 4 gives me 10, add 1 gives me 11. So 11, remember we can't do this, we just put our ones column in. So 11 has 1 10 and 1 1. So I put my ones column here and then carry my other one across. So that now becomes 100. Okay. So we've done our ones, we've done our tens. Now it comes to our 100. So all we need to do is add those together. So 1, add 1, and don't forget this one below, add 1, which gives me 314. Okay. So this is really important because it's important that you understand which numbers go in which column. So as you can see, when I had to add across a 10, I was only putting the ones column in here. So remember, I wasn't putting 14 like this. I was adding just my ones column in and then carrying my 10 across to where it should be. Remember, these become tens. So if you like to see it, it would be 60, add 40, add 10, which give me 110. So my 10 would stay here and I'd move my 1 across. Okay, but in terms of column addition, you don't need to know that. All you need to do is to add the numbers that you can see. Okay, everything else works for itself. Okay, so let's try one more question. Okay, so this is really important to understand when you all go back to school. This is something that gets introduced in year 3. Okay, so I currently I am a year 3 teacher, and I taught this under the addition and subtraction topic. But you need to understand your place value first. So understanding hundreds, tens, and ones. Understanding that, for example, 36 has 3 tens, and it also has 6 ones. Okay, sorry, we put it in that column. 3 tens and 6 ones. Okay, so it's important that you understand the concept of numbers first. So let's do another question. So we're going to do a bit of a harder one this time. We're going to do 368 add 255. Okay, so going back to my steps to success, have I placed the digits in the correct column? Well, yes, because I've got my ones in the correct column, I've got my tens in the correct column, but I've also got my hundreds. Have I shown the addition and equal sign? Yes, here's my, if I highlight this, I've got my addition, and you can also see here, I've got my equals sign. Now, I need to do step 3, which is to add the ones column first. So as you can see, if I highlight this, I've got my ones column. So all I do is 8 add 5, which gives me 13. So 13 has 1 10 and 3 ones. So I put my ones column here, so that was 3, and then carry my 10 across. So I know that 8 add 5 gives me 13. Then we move across to our tens column. So 6 add 5. Don't forget this one below. Add 1. So this gives me 6 add 5, 11. Add 1, 12. So 12 has got 1. 12, it would be 120 because it's now our tens column, isn't it? So I would put my 2 here. So 6 add 5 add 1 gives me 12. I'd put my 2 here and then carry my 1 across. Then I've got my hundreds column. So I would do this time 3, add 2. Don't forget this one below again. Add 1. So 3 add 2 gives me 5. And then 5 add 1 gives me 6. So in terms of understanding the hundreds, tens, and ones, when you're adding each column together, you don't need to know that this is 60, add 50, add 10. You can just do each one as it looks. So 8 add 5, 6 add 5, 3 add 2. Obviously, it is the hundreds column. This is the tens, this is the ones. But you can just add them together as you look at them. Okay? So we know that 368 add 255 gives us 623. Okay? As long as you've got your hundreds column, your tens column, and your ones column in the correct place, you will not go far wrong. Okay? It can be tricky. Okay, but it does require practice, practice, practice. So just to conclude this lesson for today, you have been learning about the column method for addition. What you can take away from this is that you need to place the digits in the correct column. So I'm going back to my steps of success now. So number 1 is to place the digits in the correct column. Number 2, show the addition and the equal sign. Number 3, you add the ones column together first, okay? So you work from right to left. So add the ones column first. Then you will add the tens column, which is shown in blue. And then step 5 is to add the hundreds column. in red. Couple of tips is just when you are practicing this at home, or hopefully when we go back to school, do each column in a different colour. Okay, so it's more clear to see, and that you will have a better understanding. So hundreds can be red. You can do the tens in blue, the ones in black. I hope that was really good for you all today. So now go away and practice your column addition. I've been Mr. Semmons. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Semmons. Please leave your suggestions in the chat facility for more lessons you would like to see. And we'll be joining Mr. Semmons next week for a subtraction lesson. So make sure you are staying tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and back to the studio.